Okay, I guess this is the second video. Hopefully we can wind it up. I had already had so many different fruit types in my map, so I decided to go with millet. Let's see. You want to go to the map, your map 01, right click, edit with Notepad++. If you don't have it, get it. And I've already got the mod description open, but of course, you go back, mod description, might as well have it open. Here's where I just added it in. You put it in the text file under the 110 section. Just come down wherever you can, create this line, put it in. There should be a few things in there. The next thing, of course, you want to do, I'm not going to add it here, I'm going to leave it out of here. Just you want to make sure you have your regular fill type Lua or fruit registered Lua. You want to make sure you have it under the extra source file. I sent one blank. I sent one on the previous video, so if you don't have it, just look at the previous video, and there's a download link with an example with oat, so you can actually use it and edit to whatever fruit you want. But anyway, I went with millet, so I've got that in there. I've got it pointing to here, and I may have to come back and do that, but I'm gonna do it without this. But and we'll open this and I'll show you how to edit your fruit register Lua. Alright, now the next thing you need is your texture. I just dropped it in. It's best if you go to map, textures, foliage. Now I dropped in millet. Let's see. It's going to be an F, but let me find it. One thing you want to recognize is that if you're fortunate enough, say sorghum for instance, if you're fortunate enough to have the diffuse textures, that's great. If you don't, if you just have the actual foliage texture itself, well, I don't have the diffuse textures for millet, so I'm going to show you how to do that. And if you do have the diffuse textures like so, it's pretty simple. So let's find it. Where did I put it? Yeah, there it is. See, all I have is the diffuse texture. And if you're creative in Photoshop and want to make these, then good deal. Just remember, your diffuse texture needs to be a DDS file, and you can get the plug-in for Photoshop or whatever. The distance textures can be a PNG file. Normally, I've never seen them anything but a PNG. But like I say, if you're fortunate enough to have them, great. If not, since I don't, we'll go around the other route. Alright, first thing you want to do, in your map 01 file, you have it open. Most people, since we don't have the distance textures, we're going to use wheat, and a lot of people use that, so don't let it scare you away. So if I had the diffuse textures for let's say sorghum for instance, if I had those diffuse textures, I could copy and paste these, and I would need to change this number. Now I'm going to delete this. I'm just going to show you. If you have your diffuse textures, what you do is just change it. Let's just say if it was sorghum, for instance, we would change the name to sorghum. Make sure this name's the same as the file. We'd change it to sorghum, 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 so on. Now, we don't have these, so we're going to need these file IDs. What it's going to do is when we make our the next few entries, it's going to tell the computer, the game engine, to look for these file IDs. All that's going to do is give us the distance diffuse texture. It's not going to look like wheat when it's growing. It's just going to give it the shader look, because if I open these up, you would see them in I forget the program. Anyway, it's one of Adobe's, but anyway, Fireworks. Yeah, if I open it up, it would open it in Fireworks, and you wouldn't be able to see nothing but colors anyway. But if you have these distance diffuse textures, change the name directory. You always want to start at the beginning anyway. And you would change, you need to change this number here. This is important. You need to change this number to something high. You can see I've already gotten in the thousands. I always have 6 characters normally. So I would change this to 3990001. Now my computer doesn't like the stream and all this stuff open. Anyway. This one I would go 0002, 0003, and the reason I say this is 4 and so on. You only do these numbers is when we enter it in the next step, the material editor, it's going to look for these numbers, and you want something very high. Once you start the game, or when we start Giants Editor, it's going to reload these anyway. It'll change these numbers. These numbers very seldom stay. There's a few that do stay the same. There's some that don't. So like I said, you have your distance diffuse texture. If you have it, make sure the name's the same. We don't have it, so we're going to use these. So since we don't have it, I don't need to do this. I just need these numbers. I got 39 to 44. And I usually just write it down. So I'm looking at 39 through 44 for my distance diffuse. Delete this. Now what I do have is the actual texture itself. So we'll do the old wheat thing again. It can actually be any. Let's do. I want to make sure I get the. It'll be texture. There you go. You want to make sure you get the texture foliage. This is the directory of it anyway. So what I want to do is get. Yeah. Sorry, I got the wrong one.
Disconnected.
Find it. Izzy! I was gonna get her. Alright, let's see. I left it in there. Okay. We shouldn't be done with this if I don't have to come back and take that out. Mod description, everything's in there. Now, we need to open the fruit register Lua. This is where it's at. Where did I... Oh. My object scripts. Fruit register. Alright. Open it in Notepad++. Now, if you downloaded the map on the first one, you got this. You already got something in there. All you'd have to do is come down a few lines, copy and paste to add something else. And I actually would like this to mimic sorghum. So if I was doing oat or whatever, I want it to mimic sorghum. So this is what I'm going to do. Now we're going to change it to millet for future reference. Register fruit type is going to be millet. The HUD for millet is going to be, I'm going to have to go get a HUD. I don't think I have one. One HUD map. Let's see. I don't think I have a millet HUD. I sure don't. I got to go make one. This is going to take a few minutes. There, they got one. Remember I said 256 by 256 on the left side, 64 by 64 for the right side. So I got to get Photoshop and resize it. Give me just a minute. I didn't have to make it. I happened to found one, but they didn't have a small one. And I just like the small one, so it shows up in the bottom right hand corner. Alright, I just take it, and all you have to do is edit image size. We'll do 6:4 by 6:4. Hit OK. File. Save as. And I'm going to save it here. It's already got the path. I just remember one thing. We are going to HUD small, except it's going to be millet when I get done editing this. Millet HUD Did we? Yeah, let's just. Millet HUD small. That's going to give us our. And remember, you have to have the DDS texture plug-in. I usually leave these the same. Alpha information will be lost. Yeah, okay. Alright. Now what we can do is see how it looks. Millet HUD small. It looks small. Millet HUD. You know what? That might be my alpha. I don't like that. Let's just see if it works anyway. Now you can watch all kind of videos on how to do textures. Anyway, it's going to be Millet HUD small. I'm sorry, I forgot this one. Millet HUD. Millet HUD small. The directory's right. It's going to be Millet. And I do capital letter here because I like it to be capitalized in the menu. And let's just make this real easy. Honestly, I've never seen Millet. Never seen it grow or that I know of. I might have just screwed up. Yeah, these got to be the same as the texture file. The only one I do caps is this one, and it shows up caps. Remember I told you about the on the right hand side your fruit texture color. Well, the game will only allow 5 fruits to show up in the menu. I have 6 already. This will be the 7th one. So just for the heck of it, I'm going to change that to a 2 and then change this to a 5. And it's not, we're not going to be able to see it, but it's going to be in there. Actually, I have 7 fruits in this map. And I would leave that. Well, yeah, let's leave that as fruit type, fruit utility. That's what I got on these others. I think I changed one to. I just leave it as wheat. It just. I don't know why. I don't think it makes a difference. If it does, and you know it does, let me know, and I'll see if I can't fix that. But I usually just leave those as wheat and then millet there. Okay, millet. All right, you have the Lua updated. Now, next thing we got to do is test it. We have it here. I don't think I'll need it there. Okay, so I don't know what I did. Oh, I need to save where I put it in here. The map 01. I'm going to exit out of this because it will update when I open the giant setter. Now, before you do anything, back your work up, of course, but we're fixing to see if it works. I'll pause it while I load this. Let's see if it'll. This is like a 4x map, so it takes a little while to load. So let me pause. Alright, this is a map I'm working on. Let's just try a little test section. I think I had some potatoes or something over here. So let's just test it. Alright, you don't need that. Don't need that. What you need is terrain editing. Nah, I don't want to do that. Anyway. Alright, look at here. Terrain, we already have an error, so we're going to need to fix something. Let's see. It can't load resource. Textures, foliage, terrain, detail, distance, texture, foliage, millet, diffuse, not found. Okay, so we need to find. We've already got an error, and just for the heck of it, yeah, it is showing up in. We got some of it right, but we're not going to be able to see it till we fix these textures. All right, so what I can do is go look for that file, see what we got wrong. And sometimes it's good to have a few errors, so to speak. Foliage, millet, distance, diffuse. You know what? I believe we got it just a name wrong. So I'm going to open this just in case. And open this back up. So let's see. Textures, foliage. Let's see. Map. Textures. Foliage. Foliage, millet, distance. We just have foliage. You know what? It would be easier just to change the name of this here instead of millet, distance, diffuse, foliage, millet, distance, diffuse. Yeah. Hold on a second while I think. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think foliage, millet, distance, diffuse. I didn't change the name. I can change it here, but I guess it don't really matter. Foliage, millet, diffuse. Let's just do that. Foliage, millet, diffuse. I told you if I ever did this and it worked out perfect, then something is wrong. I'm gonna close this out. I'm gonna reload this and pause it while it reloads. And it's loading everything, so maybe we can. I don't know. Terrain editing. Where'd that go? Yeah. Okay. I do not think it had that same error. Like I said, everything, nothing. I don't see any errors other than the first two we got. And I reloaded everything. Okay, let's just see if we can plant millet. Now, normally, these are the foliage channels. Remember, we changed it to 15. It adds additional channel. These are normally already checked. You can leave them. I believe it's going. Let's just try 6. Press the leave. See what. Oh wow. Now, as you can see, foliage is white, and that may very well be because I just didn't start this over. So we've got the name changed. I'm going to reload this here. Just give me a few minutes. Reloading the textures didn't work, so let me just reload it. Hold on, we're almost done. Alright, let's see, I still got another error. Incorrect format must be 8-bit RGB. And I tell you how to fix that. It's amazing. We know it's 8-bit RGB. I didn't look at it, but normally this happens when it did not uh, load correctly. So what I do, oh crap, I'm loading another freaking, this is gonna screw up. I didn't want to do that. Let me pause this. Alright, what, some reason you'll get that error message if the numbers didn't match up correctly, or we got the number, or you got the numbers wrong when we added them in the map. So I'm gonna open this with this. I got 1, 2, 3, 3 zeros. Let's find it again. 1, 2, 3 zeros, and material was just 2 zeros and a 1. Alright, material was 2 zeros and a 1. Okay, so what would do, that was 39 0 0 0 1, 39 0 0 0 1. Alright, that's right. Material ID 347001. 347001. Okay, so what we're gonna do is this is saved. I'm going to close this out again, and when I reopen this, these numbers, this should update and the numbers change. It'll renumber these. I think what I'll do is I'll start the game and let it renumber these. I'll open it back up and show you it does renumber them. I'll go ahead and start the game. Give me a second. I found my mistake. I had 1, 2, 3 zeros here, and I didn't have to start the game. I just thought about checking it before I went anywhere. Remember here, 0 0 0 1. So let's just increase that by 1 0. Sometimes you just don't go high enough. Material is 1, 2, 3 zeros. We'll go back up here. Add another 0. Maybe we just didn't go high enough. I don't want that. Let's do another 0 there. And another 0 there. And we will save this. And what I will do is close this out and then restart it, and it should work. I am more than likely going to have to start the game up and it'll renumber. What it'll do is, if you start the game up, and I was thinking Giants would renumber it, but it won't. But when I start the game up, it's going to renumber this. So I don't want to paint any, mill it down, or make any changes to the i3D. But I got the numbers correct. We've got the file locations, but just to show you, I've got millet checked, number 6, and that's what it's going to look like when it grows. Let's see if it's got a different, yeah, it Remember I told you may have to change the some of the numbers because it's not basically just let's see what 7 is. 7 is dead millet. 4 even show up. 4 won't show up yet. But anyway, it will paint. If it paints, it'll grow. So we're going to go grow it. And I'm not going to save this or anything. And I'll open the game up. I'm going to start a new game. It's actually a map I've been working on. It's almost too big to do anything with, so I haven't done any of the intro stuff, so it's just a very big map. If you look in the log file where I loaded the game up, you can see that millet actually loads, so it's registered. Let's see if I get anything else from it. That's the soil mod I haven't included. This map. Corrupt save game, that's normal. Okay. So it didn't change the number. Of course I didn't save it. I figured if I saved it, it would change it. Last thing we need to do. Remember I told you you needed 2 mods. I recommended add fill types, but I said you needed the ZZ Multifruit and Multifruit module. Once you have those, extract the Multifruit module. Go there, open up the Multifruit standard modules, then Multifruit config. Remember, this is our fruits. I want the millet to actually work just like sorghum or sunflower. So what I'm going to do is just copy paste that. I'm going to change it to millet. I want to do maize. I'm going to cut it with a corn header. Save that. Close it out. We'll zip this back up. I'll put it back in the odds folder. Overwrite the other one if you do that. Delete that. This 64 fix mod. You start messing with a bunch of fruits, or you have a map that has a bunch of fruits, you definitely need to get that mod. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint some sorghum on the ground and run over and mow it, or not mow it, but I'm going to try and harvest it and show you that the in-game equipment does mow or cut or whatever you want to do with this stuff if you do it with those modules and do it correctly. Once I painted some of it down, I'm going to save it and log out. I'm going to go in the game and grab an in-game harvester, and I'll turn this on, and we'll come over here and harvest this stuff. Showing you in these fruit menus. Remember, it only shows 5. We changed the color anyway. Sugar cane and I guess millet, it's not going to show up. Maybe they'll have a fix. You got all this extra space over here. I thought there'd be a new line code or something they could add in to force it to reline it, but anyway, this is the the little spot right here, I painted it, so let's go check it out. I got a lot of equipment right here, so it's gonna be good. I'm gonna go and make you sit here and wait till I drive over there, so I'll be right back. Alright, we drove over to it. As you can see, it does grow. Maybe not the best texture in the world, so if you start making your own, make some good ones. I'll speed it up and see if we can get it to harvest. Alright, that was the next growth stage. I don't believe that's going to be the harvest. Should probably do that with the ground instead. I didn't know it was going to look like that. You know, like I said, I've never seen millet before in my life that I know of. It shows green, ready to harvest. We'll try it. Like corn because that's the foliage layer we use. I've changed that to around it. It may actually make research. But anyway, see in the right hand corner, wow, the texture, that's the 64 by 64, and it's not going to. Guys, I know this has been long, and I hope you all enjoyed it. If you have any questions, I will do my very best to help you sort this out. That's in a nutshell how to get. You'll have better textures and it'll go a lot smoother than what it did with me. But thank you guys for watching it, and hope you like it. And if you want to see any more, please ask me. It's going to try and do some stuff. People ask a lot of questions how to do things, so whatever you do, don't ask me how to make a tractor for you. I get asked that all the time. I do not mess with vehicle mods, never have, and almost didn't have a desire to do it. Game harvester and header. It's the Opala or whatever. Capella. No. This is all in-game stuff. I'm not using any mods. Alright, thank y'all.